Differences, they're everywhere. Differences in strengths and in weaknesses. We've all got differences. But when we come together with those differences, how is there power in that? I'm going to talk about that next. Hi, I'm Heidi Tucker, award-winning author and speaker. Welcome to the Pickled Sunflower, where we can come together, make that connection, and find some hope. Recently, my nephew came out as gay. He posted that on social media to let everybody know. In that posting, he talked about how being a gay member of his church did not change his faith, that he calls himself a disciple of Christ. He wants to do good things in the world, but he wants to reach out and help others on his journey and be true to himself. Okay, so I've been married for 40 years to one man versus my nephew is gay. He has a same-sex attraction. That's diversity. How is there power in that diversity? We're going to focus on two main points of power to illustrate that. When we embrace those who are different than we are, that could be race, that can be religion, it can be sexual orientation, it can be financial status, it can be all kinds of different things. But there's power if we reach through those differences, wade through that, and find commonality. Together we can find light. Together we can appreciate each other. We can learn from each other. The number one point of power that I want to talk about is God love. What do I mean by that? God love is seeing someone with what I call spiritual eyes, seeing somebody as God might see them. When we do that, we are taking on God-given characteristics. Think of that with your children. That's a really good example, right? We have this unconditional God love for our children, right? It's just never ending. And that comes naturally. That's a beautiful gift that we all have. But can you do that with your neighbor? That's a little bit harder, right? In my particular religion, as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we follow the commandments that are listed in the Bible. And regardless of what your religion might be, I am sure there is something that you follow that brings you to a higher, more holy level. That first commandment talks about loving God with all your heart and might and mind and strength. And the second is like unto it, which is, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Well, as far as I know, there's no little asterisk there on the word neighbor that says, okay, neighbor, if he's just like you, if he's, follows the same sort of principles that you do, if he's the same race as you, if he's the same religion as you. No, it's just love your neighbor. Think about it. Should I only love my heterosexual nephews? How ridiculous does that sound? Should I only love people whose actions I 100% condone? Should I only love people whose skin color exactly matches mine? It feels so wrong just to say those statements. The higher law, really, I believe in my heart and soul, is to have a godlike love. And that's a love for all. That's the number one point of power. Before going to the number two point of power, I want to ask the question, do we ever compare ourselves and feel like we come up short? The universal answer to that is absolutely yes. And I don't know why we do that, because we all are supposed to have different strengths and different weaknesses. We come here to bless each other's lives with those differences. I believe as children of God, our strength lies in our differences, not in our similarities. Why? Because within those differences that's number two point of power, and that is our gifts. Within those differences, we have unique, very specific gifts to bless the lives of others. I've talked about gifts a little bit in some other videos that I've done, and I'll link those down below. But really, those gifts, they don't come from the porch swing sipping lemonade. Those come from hard face plants in the mud, really hard times that we've been through, where we rise up. We now have new perspective and new empathy to go forward and make a difference with those unique gifts that we have just achieved through that really hard thing that we've endured in our lives. When we combine number one, which was God love, with that spiritual gift that each of you have, that is a powerful combination for you to go out and make a difference in your very own unique way. by embracing all of God's children. We need to embrace diversity. We need to embrace differences, the strength and the power that lies in that. We need to sort of switch our thinking about that as a society, as a world. When we embrace that diversity, it's living at a higher level. You might say to yourself, how do I do that? Well, start with yourself. Can you be better at that? And then once you embrace sort of the differences that you have in yourself from others that are around you, now branch out to your family. Are there differences within your family group? Can you embrace? Can you have a godlike love for them? And can you recognize that they really do have very different gifts than you do? And in turn, you might be able to bless each other's lives. I promise that that is the key to happiness and to peace and to hope. We'll see you here next time on The Pickled Sunflower.